Hi everybody. Oh gosh, I hate how this looks with this tooth. He's not even going to take it out. Because as I said, he wants to take as least out as possible now. So there's just 3, I think it's 3, that's going to come out, and the rest at the back are going to be left in, and work around them for the beautiful implants, outplants, denture, whatever he's going to do. And all of this, for people who didn't know, is a result of medication. So before you take medication for your osteoporosis, in my case, it's also used for cancer patients. It's called hyaluronic acid, and the other one is zoledronic acid, and between them, they've really, I've got necrosis of the jaw, which is why all this has happened. Unlike Foodie Beauty, who's lost teeth due to lack of dental hygiene, lack of dental care, I would imagine, at her age. You know, I'm going to be 74 this year, and I've kept my teeth, and would have kept my teeth had it not been for the meds. So Foodie, you need to up your dental hygiene as well as lots of other things. You're looking decidedly drawn. Yep, I can literally feel and hear the gargle in my mouth as I speak, and I don't like it, and I apologise to you, but I'm not letting it stop me. Come on here, not at all. And I hope I'm encouraging other people to do the same if they need to. Just, if you've got problems, face them. Everybody has them. There's no shame in having them. Face them and address them. The shame is in being ashamed of yourself, ashamed to stand up for yourself, and hiding yourself away. No, 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 don't do that. A few exceptions to the rule there. Foodie, you might do well to hide yourself away, because I think that there's a certain gentleman who is taking exception to your obnoxious ways, and about time. All these emails I received, you know, are, you can say, are at the behest of Foodie Beauty, certainly. I also had my suspicions about DC Media Girl, because there's some phrases in these emails that she used to come out with when Chantal got her on board to attack me. It all comes back, all roads lead to you, Foodie. I'm going to read out one of the emails, and it's not the worst by far, but I'll read it. You are a disgusting, nasty old bitch, and you were warned not to say a bad word about anyone else on YouTube, but you have ignored this. You are a disgrace. Someone your age should not be inciting hatred against people on YouTube. It's pathetic. You attack Foodie and her husband, but you are a far worse person than the pair of them combined. Your late husband would be ashamed of you. Why don't you hurry up and die so you can join him? Are your teeth falling out? Asking because when I hear you speak, it sounds like a load of your teeth have come loose and are floating around that spit-filled mouth of yours. It makes me feel queasy. You look like the scrawny bird on the sign in Angry Birds, the one who gets beaten to a pulp by the big red one. Look up Red versus the Angry Bird sign on YouTube, 158. That's you. Well, I didn't look it up, I'm not interested. Only a small handful of people like you, you know. A few just feel sorry for you. Everyone else either hates you or laughs at you. Did you know that on other websites, some of your photos are circulating? Photoshopped, are they? People are taking the mick out of you lying in your satin-sheeted bed. Jealous? And posing in swimsuits. No, I showed one swimsuit. That's all. Oh no, I showed it twice, didn't I? I showed two. You are a joke and an embarrassment, Granny. Read the room. Now that last phrase, read the room, DC Media Girl, applied to me a few times. But of course, Foodie has also. And that, as I say, was by no means the worst of the stuff I got. Here's another one. The more videos you make, all in capitals this is, the more videos you make, the more people start to see just how nasty you are. It's one thing calling someone's bluff, but all you do is attack her like a high school bully. And you cross the line as you are stalking her, not just reacting to her, going out of your way to get old clips of her for the sole purpose of humiliating her further. That makes you a psycho. You fat shame her. You insult her looks all the time. You insult anyone around her. And at your age, you really should know better. You are the last person to insult someone's teeth. Your own teeth are fucking rancid. No, they're not. They're clean. And we're all sick of having to listen to you speak with that spit, venom-filled mouth of yours. Disgusting. You look like an old prostitute with that bright red lipstick smeared all over your face. What is your problem, old woman? Just because a few people are polite to you on YouTube doesn't mean they don't see you as a horrid bully. Take the broom from out of your ass and fly far away. That was another one. From Noman Nessio. Here's one because I kept on posting. Tell me not to do something and I'm likely just to go right the other way. So here's another one. You were warned not to say another bad word about any YouTuber and you've chosen to ignore it. Did you think it was a bluff? That's their threats. Tell us, Anne, if a camel might catch herpes off Foodie, what might it catch off you? Probably a little pinch on the cheek, you know. So that was the sort of stuff that I was getting. And then I got some that apparently they were all numbers and letters, and apparently that transfers into Arabic. I don't know. I read that on Kiwi Farms. I don't know. All these emails went to the cops, my end, and they're doing what they do with them, and it's ongoing. But regardless, all roads lead to you, Foodie. Everything leads to you. You, Missy Moo, and DC Media Girl too. The three of you need to be yeeted off YouTube. Three of you. Just because Missy Moo is coming across as this domestic goddess and low BMI voice and lovely attitude towards everybody now, don't believe that's her. She's a very dangerous person. She wanted to be in Foodie's skin. She said as much. And she just loved that. She said as much there also. And it was Missy Moo who sent Foodie information on my family. Missy Moo who doxed Perfectly Imperfect, and they contacted her workplace, her and Chantal, and they can deny it all they like. They're a pair of liars. Of course it's them. So that is the situation with Foodie and Missy Moo. Excuse me while I wipe my spit-filled mouth. That's the situation with them. People talk about karma, and I've said I believe that, you know, you carry your karma around with you, really, by way of the aura that you have. Some people can see that aura. Most people can't. To some people, it becomes apparent when the aura is so dense and enveloping that certain people cannot help but notice it. And there's an aura surrounding Foodie that I'm glad doesn't surround me. She, in fact, ironically, is surrounded by the same sort of aura that surrounds Cyrax. You know, the P-file, who does awful things to people and to a child. And we know he's not the first P-file that Foodie's spoken up about. It was Karate Joe, wasn't it? That P-file. And who was the person who was in jail who she said, there was somebody else. And she said, well, he ought to be left alone now. He served his time. Well, maybe, you know, like, I don't know, but a sociopath can't be cured. You know, Chantal? Can't be cured. But the disease, such as it is, can be alleviated somewhat, steered in a different direction by therapy and medication. It's a rock and a hard place situation, because how do you know that the person concerned is going to religiously take that medication or turn up for therapy sessions? In which case, if they don't, then they're going to revert to the crimes that they committed previously. I don't know. But sociopathy can't be cured. And I wonder whether people who are paedophiles, whether that can be wiped out of their brain altogether also. Personally, I wouldn't want to be around one. I wouldn't want my children to be within 100,000 yards of any one of them. Just as Voodoo, I wouldn't want any of my family to be within any proximity to you. Your aura is dark, it's dense, and that's all of that £500 nearly that you're carrying around with you is all part of it. You know, what's happened to me is not self-inflicted. I've got 9 broken bones in my back through the osteoporosis. I've got necrosis of the jaw due to medications. It's not due to anything that I have done to myself. Unless you call being vegan for 20 years made me lacking in nutrients. I don't believe it was that. But it's nothing I've done to myself. I don't smoke, have never smoked. I rarely drink. Oh, I might have one later. I've got some Baileys downstairs. I don't drink. I meet friends for coffee occasionally, which I'm doing tomorrow again. And they come here. We sit in the garden. I go to their houses. We go out to historic places. This year I haven't done as much because my time has been spent between the hospital and the dental surgery, unfortunately. So plans have gone awry, but they will happen. And I'm determined to get back on my feet and get my smile back as well. Determined that I can do it this side of Christmas, well before, hopefully before my birthday at the end of September. But what about you, Voodoo? What are you going to do? How are you going to change your life for the better? How are you going to change yourself for the better? Because you need to see a counsellor about your narcissistic, sociopathic, compulsive, ugly personality and character. The world does not owe you a living. You think you're some big light in the world because you've got 90,000 subscribers. Most of those don't watch you. You've got new subs now. A lot of the old ones have left. People like Sofa King, who was one of the Holy Trinity. Who were the other two? Sofa King. Oh, it'll come to me. And they were the Holy Trinity. They were your personal bodyguards, wasn't they? But where have they gone? What happened to the little enclave called Knights of Chantal? And they were all put in KOC after their name. Knights of Chantal, who were supposed to be going into other people's videos where they were discussing Chantal and taking her part. Where are all those white knights now? Those white knights of Chantal. Maybe they disappeared into the daylight instead of the night and realised just what bad news you are. Bad news. I think Marty is convinced that he should be doing something to bring you down a peg or two. And I'm convinced that he should also. Far be it from me, I wouldn't dream to tell him of the way to go about it, because he's got more experience than me in doing stuff like that. But I'm certainly willing to help him and give him access to the information that I've got. All of it, including all of the emails. And I'm sure people, my subscribers, people who've been with me from the beginning, would be happy also to speak to him. People who've known Chantal for some years now. The new subscribers, really, do they need to be a target? Well, maybe they do, yeah, because if they're paying her, they need to stop. But it's the old ones, the ones like Golden Girl, that need to be, I don't really know how you, it's just come to my head now after I've emptied the cat litter tray. You know, you've got the litter that clumps, and when the cat's peed, it goes into clumps, and it's quite hard to get up. I reckon that's going to be the difficulty with getting Golden Girl out of the Visa harem. You're going to have to elbow it, you know, get the trowel and elbow her out of the tray, so to speak. They're all nut jobs, paying that money to her every month. And if she's still got the postcard to you, which I believe was $10 a month, and she was going to send them a postcard from wherever she travelled, I don't believe one postcard went out. Whether she still has that going, I don't know. But she had quite a few scams on the go, did our foodie. Quite a few. And you're going to get your comeuppance, because Marty's on your case. And Anne's very happy to talk to Marty. So there you go, foodie. Chickens are coming home to roost, and not in the way that you would think or like.